Donuts are pure comfort food, soft, sweet, fried, and covered in everything from sugar glaze to sprinkles. They're the kind of treat that turns mornings into celebrations. But not all donut shops are created equal. Some chains rely on stale ingredients and sugar overload, while others still craft donuts worth the calories. We've ranked some of the most popular donut shops in America, from worst to best, based on taste, freshness, variety, and reputation. If you're going to indulge, this guide shows you where your money and sweet tooth are best spent. 11. Walmart and grocery store donuts. The bottom of the barrel. Let's start at the very bottom. Grocery store donuts. Whether it's Walmart, Target, or your local supermarket, these are the kind of donuts that look good behind the glass, but collapse at first bite. The problem? Mass production. These donuts are made in bulk, shipped frozen, and reheated on site. By the time you eat them, they're dry, dense, and often overly sweet to mask the staleness. The glaze cracks instead of melting, and the texture feels more like bread than pastry. Sure, they're cheap, but you get what you pay for. For donut lovers, supermarket pastries are the last resort, not the go-to. 10. Gas station donuts. Sugary fillers on the go. Right above grocery store offerings are the infamous gas station donuts. Sold in plastic packs or behind a counter that rarely looks clean, these are donuts of convenience, not quality. Most gas station donuts are filled with preservatives so they can sit for days without spoiling. That means longer shelf life but zero freshness. The texture is rubbery, the filling tastes artificial, and the sugar is overwhelming. They'll do if you're desperate on a road trip, but if you're comparing them to real donut shops, gas station pastries don't stand a chance. 9. Winchell's Donut House, a faded legend. Once upon a time, Winchell's was a powerhouse. Founded in 1948, it was one of America's first major donut chains. But today, quality has dropped, and so has the consistency. Walk into one Winchell's, and you might get a fresh, soft donut. Walk into another, and you'll get something dry and underwhelming. That inconsistency has killed the brand's reputation. For older generations, Winchell's is a nostalgic stop. But for anyone craving true quality, it's now a shadow of what it once was. 8. Shipley Doughnuts. Regional favorite with issues. In the South, Shipley, Doughnuts is beloved. Their raised donuts are big, airy, and generously glazed. But Shipley has one glaring issue: grease. Too often, their donuts taste heavy because they're fried in oil that hasn't been changed frequently enough. That leaves an aftertaste that sticks in your mouth long after the sweetness fades. Still, for locals, Shipley holds cultural value. But in a head-to-head taste test, they don't stack up against the best of the best. 7. Dunkin, quantity over quality. For many people, Dunkin, formerly Dunkin' Donuts, is their first introduction to donuts. With thousands of locations across the US, Dunkin dominates the convenience market. But let's be real, these are fast food donuts. Dunkin focuses on volume, not craftsmanship. Their donuts are lighter than gas station options, but nowhere near bakery fresh. Flavors like Boston cream and jelly stick are iconic, but the taste often leans artificial, with fillings that feel more like sugar paste than custard. The saving grace? Coffee pairings. Dunkin isn't just about donuts. It's about grabbing a coffee and a snack on the run. For that, it succeeds. But if you're ranking pure donut quality, Dunkin sits in the middle, not at the top. 6. Tim Hortons. Canada's pride, America's middle ground. Tim Hortons is a Canadian treasure, famous for its Timbits, donut holes. In Canada, Tim Hortons is everywhere, and the freshness is often better than in US locations. But in the States, Tim Hortons suffers from the same problem as Dunkin: mass production. While Timbits are fun and easy to eat, the full-size donuts are hit or miss. Sometimes soft, sometimes dry. It's a gamble depending on the franchise. For Canadians, it's a cultural staple. For Americans, it's just another chain. 5. Lamar's Donuts, underrated and overlooked. Lamar's Donuts doesn't have the same nationwide fame as Dunkin or Krispy Kreme, but among those who know it, the chain has a loyal following. Lamar's donuts are large, fresh, and satisfying. Their glazed and cake varieties often beat Dunkin in side-by-side taste tests. The only problem? Limited availability. With fewer than 30 locations, Lamar's is more of a regional gem than a national powerhouse. If you happen to live near one, though, Lamar's is worth a stop. Fourth, Daylight Doughnuts. Simple and consistent. Daylight Doughnuts is another regional chain with a devoted fan base. Their strength lies in consistency. While their donuts aren't as flashy as others, they're reliably soft, lightly sweetened, and not overly greasy. Daylight also keeps prices reasonable, which makes them a favorite for families picking up a dozen for breakfast. They may not blow you away with innovation, but they deliver what donut lovers want: freshness and flavor without gimmicks. 3. Voodoo Doughnut. Wild, weird, and worth trying. If you want an experience, not just a donut, Voodoo Doughnut is the place. Known for its quirky creations like the maple bacon bar and donuts shaped like voodoo dolls, this Portland-based chain has built a cult following. The flavors can be hit or miss. Some combinations work brilliantly, others feel like sugar overload. But the creativity alone earns Voodoo a higher spot on the list. For adventurous eaters, it's a must-try. For traditionalists, it might feel like too much. 2. Randy's Doughnuts. Iconic West Coast giant. If you've seen a giant donut sign in a movie, it was probably Randy's. This Los Angeles landmark has been around since 1952 and still draws crowds. Randy's Doughnuts are massive, fluffy, and indulgent. Their glazed is a classic, and specialty flavors rotate to keep fans coming back. The only downside is that Randy's is still mostly a California thing, so not everyone can access it. But for those lucky enough to live nearby, Randy's is proof that old-school donut shops can still thrive. First, Krispy Kreme, the gold standard. At the very top sits Krispy Kreme. When the Hot Now sign lights up, it's donut heaven. Fresh out of the fryer, Krispy Kreme's original glaze practically melts in your mouth. What sets Krispy Kreme apart is freshness. Unlike many chains, they make their donuts on-site throughout the day, so you're often getting a warm, soft pastry instead of something that's been sitting for hours. Their specialty flavors, chocolate-iced, cream-filled, and seasonal varieties, are delicious, but it's the original glazed that made Krispy Kreme a legend. For pure donut joy, Krispy Kreme remains the best of the best. Final ranking summary. Worst, Walmart and grocery store donuts, gas station donuts, Winchell's Donut House, Shipley Doughnuts, Dunkin, Tim Hortons, Lamar's Donuts, Daylight Doughnuts, Voodoo Doughnut, Randy's Doughnuts, Best Krispy Kreme. The sweet truth. Not every donut is worth the calories, especially when so many chains cut corners with preservatives and stale ingredients. But when you find the right shop, donuts can still be the indulgent treat they're meant to be. If you're going to splurge, skip the grocery store racks and gas stations. Instead, aim for spots that care about freshness. Whether that means grabbing a warm original glazed from Krispy Kreme, trying a maple bacon bar at Voodoo, or hitting Randy's in LA, the best donuts prove one thing: quality makes all the difference.